Hey there, my friend. Welcome to another episode of Everyday English, where we talk real, practical, honest English learning. No fluff, no pressure, just real conversations to help you grow. Let me ask you a few questions, and be honest with yourself, okay? Have you ever thought, why is English so hard for me? Why do other people seem to learn faster than I do? Why do I understand the words when I read, but when someone speaks, I feel lost? Am I too old, too busy, or just not good enough to speak English? If any of these thoughts have crossed your mind, I want you to know something very important. You're not alone. I've been there. In fact, today's episode is going to be a little more personal. I'm going to tell you about my journey, the frustrations, the failures, the late nights, the moments I almost gave up, but also the small victories, the little wins, the quiet moments when things started to make sense, because no matter where you are on your English journey right now, just starting halfway through or stuck at a plateau, I want you to know that progress is possible. And I'm going to share 5 powerful tips that helped me improve my English, and still help me today. But before we dive into the good stuff, let me ask you one quick favor. Please take a second to subscribe to the Everyday English channel. Hit the like button if you believe English is something worth fighting for. All right, now that you've done that, thank you. Let's start at the beginning. When I started learning English, I thought it was going to be easy. You know, just memorize. Some vocabulary. Dog. Cat. Hello. Thank you. And boom, I'll be speaking like a native in no time, right? Ha! I was so wrong. The first time I tried to listen to a real English conversation, not a textbook example, not a slow teacher recording, but real, natural English, I almost cried. It felt like a bunch of sounds mashed together. I couldn't tell when one word ended and the next one began. I remember watching an interview on YouTube, and after 10 seconds I thought, what language is this? This cannot be English. And when I finally got the courage to try speaking, oh boy. My tongue froze, my brain went blank, my heart was racing, and all I could say was something like, "Hi, wait, I forgot." So many times I would study hard, memorize grammar rules, watch videos, and still feel like I wasn't improving. I felt like I was stuck in the same place and everyone else was flying past me. But here's what I've learned. Frustration is not a sign of failure. It's part of the process. Let me say that again. Frustration means you're growing. And in this episode, I'm going to share the 5 most powerful lessons that helped me push through that frustration and make real progress. These tips are practical. They're not magic. But they work because I've lived them. Let's do this. Tip number 1. Expose yourself to English every single day, even if you don't understand everything. Let me be real with you. This tip right here, it was a game changer for me. Total shift. And I know it might sound too simple or even a bit cliché. Like, yeah, I've heard that before. But trust me, the magic is in the consistency, not in how fancy the method sounds. What do I mean by exposing yourself to English? I mean making it a part of your everyday environment. It doesn't have to be a formal study session. Actually, it shouldn't be all the time. You don't need to sit at a desk with a grammar book and a pencil to learn. Instead, you need to live with English. Let it live around you. Listen to English podcasts while you're brushing your teeth. Watch English YouTubers while you're cooking or cleaning. Play English music while you're on the bus or walking somewhere. Let it play in the background, like white noise. You don't need to understand everything. In fact, don't even try. Just let it be there naturally. Because here's the thing. Your brain is a pattern-detecting machine. Even if you think you're not learning, your brain is soaking in the sounds, the rhythm, the intonation, the melody of the language. That's what we call passive learning. And, honestly, it's one of the most underrated tools we have. I'll give you an example from my own life. Back when I was really struggling with English, and I mean really struggling, like I couldn't even follow subtitles, I made a promise to myself. Every morning while I made breakfast, I would play an English podcast. No matter what. Rain or shine, tired or not. I'd hit play and I'd let it run. At first, it was just noise. Seriously, it sounded like someone was speaking underwater or mumbling with a mouthful of marbles. I couldn't catch a single full sentence. Maybe I'd hear a word like coffee or hello and feel proud, but most of the time, nothing. Just noise. But I didn't stop. I kept showing up. I kept pressing play. After a few weeks, something weird happened. One morning, while I was cracking eggs, I heard the host say something that made me pause. It was a phrase I had heard before, but this time it clicked. It wasn't just sound. It had meaning. And slowly, more things started to make sense. I began to pick up not just words, but emotions behind the words. I recognized humor, sarcasm, excitement. I started to understand the tone even before I understood the words fully. I could feel the language. And then one day, I'll never forget this. The host of the podcast made a joke. It wasn't even a great joke, just a silly comment. But I laughed, out loud, without even realizing it. And it hit me. Wait, I got that. I understood that joke in English, and I didn't translate it in my head. That was a turning point. It felt like a wall had broken down. Suddenly, I wasn't just learning English, I was living it. It had become part of my life. So, what I'm saying is this. You don't need to understand every word. You just need to let English be around you. Be patient. Trust the process. The brain is amazing. It learns even when you're not aware of it. Let English be your daily background music. Let it follow you in the quiet moments. Let it be the noise you don't tune out, because one day, that noise will become understanding. It's not about doing a lot once in a while. It's about doing a little every single day. And the results? They sneak up on you. But when they do, it's powerful. That's tip number 1. And believe me, if you start this today and stay consistent, you'll look back in a month, in 3 months, and you'll be amazed at how far you've come, without even realizing it. Tip number 2. Speak out loud, even when you're alone. Okay, let's get into this. And I want to start with a simple truth. If you want to speak English, you need to actually speak English, not just think it, not just read it, not just understand it in your head. You have to speak it out, loud, with your voice, with your mouth, even if there's nobody around, even if you feel ridiculous. This one felt awkward at first. I'll admit that. I mean, who talks to themselves out loud, right? but I was desperate to improve. And I had read somewhere that if you want to get comfortable with a language, you need to use it like it's already part of your life. So I gave it a try. I started small. I would say things like, "I'm going to the kitchen," or "I need to do laundry," or "It's cold today. I should wear a jacket." Just basic, everyday thoughts, but in English and out loud. What I was doing, without even realizing it, was narrating my life. Like I was the star of a documentary and the narrator was just casually following me around. And this simple habit? It started rewiring my brain. Because thinking in English is helpful, sure, but speaking in English, that's where the real transformation begins. When you speak out loud, even if it's just to yourself, you're training your brain to connect ideas to sound. Not translation. You're practicing pronunciation. You're improving your memory. You're building muscle memory in your mouth. You're getting used to the rhythm and flow of the language. And something else happened too. My confidence grew. You know that moment when someone asks you a question in English and your brain just freezes? You know the answer, but your mouth refuses to cooperate? That used to happen to me all the time, but once I started speaking out loud by myself, every day, those freeze moments started to disappear. My brain and mouth were finally working together, and you don't need any special tools for this. No app, no teacher, no partner, just your voice and a little bit of courage. You can do this while getting dressed in the morning. Where's my other sock? Oh, there it is. Or while cooking. Okay, now I'll add the salt, maybe a little too much. Oops. Or while walking down the street. I wonder what time the bus arrives. I hope it's not late. You become your own conversation partner, your own practice buddy. And because there's no one judging you, no one correcting you, you're free to make mistakes. You're free to try, to repeat, to experiment. That freedom is powerful. And here's the bonus. When you speak out loud regularly, your brain starts to switch over. You'll notice that your internal thoughts begin to come out, in English more naturally. You'll catch yourself forming sentences without translating from your native language. It becomes automatic. So, here's my challenge for you. For the next 7 days, commit to talking to yourself in English every single day. Start small. A sentence, then 2, then maybe a minute. Describe what you're doing. Ask yourself questions. Pretend you're explaining something to a friend. And if you feel silly, that's fine. Feel silly, and do it anyway. Because every sentence you say out loud is one step closer to fluency. Every awkward word is a brick in the foundation of your confidence. Nobody learns to speak by staying silent. So speak, loudly, proudly, even if it's just to the walls. Your future self, the one who holds conversations with ease, who travels, who interviews in English, who connects with people from all over the world, will thank you for every single word you spoke alone. Tip number 3. Make English part of your lifestyle, not just a subject. Okay, this is a big one, and it might just be the one that turns everything around for you. Because here's the thing, if you only treat English like something you study, like a school subject, then that's all it will ever be. A subject, a task, a chore. And, We all know how easy it is to lose motivation when something feels like homework. But what if English wasn't something you studied? What if it was just your life? Let me explain. Making English part of your lifestyle means weaving it into your day in a natural, effortless way. It means surrounding yourself with English so much that you don't even notice you're learning, because it just becomes how you live. So, how do you do that? Start with simple changes. Change the language on your phone to English. Yes, it might be confusing for a day or two, but your brain adapts fast. You'll start learning tech vocabulary without even trying. Next, label things in your house in English. Grab some sticky notes and go wild. Mirror, refrigerator, door, lamp, toothbrush. Now, every time you walk around your home, you're absorbing English vocabulary. Not from a textbook, but from your real environment. Write your grocery list in English. Even if you don't know how to say everything, just try. Look it up if you need to. The effort of translating real items you use builds lasting knowledge. It's meaningful because it's connected to your daily habits. Think in English. I mean this literally. When you are walking to the bus stop, try to describe the weather in English. When you're choosing dinner, try thinking, should I eat pasta or rice tonight? It's okay if you struggle. That mental effort is where growth happens. Follow English-speaking creators on Instagram, YouTube, or TikTok, but make sure it's stuff you actually enjoy. Comedy, travel, fashion, sports. Don't just follow language teachers. Follow creators who talk about things you care about. That way, you're learning vocabulary you'll actually use. If you like cooking, follow chefs who speak English. If you like gaming, follow English-speaking gamers. If you love productivity tips, find English-speaking creators who share them. The goal is to blend your interests with English, so the language becomes a vehicle, not a barrier. I used to watch daily vlogs from an American guy who just filmed his mornings, his workouts, and his meals. At first, I barely understood anything, but it felt real. It wasn't a lesson, it was just life. And slowly, I started understanding more and more. Another thing that helped me, setting my digital life to English. My email, my apps, my Netflix, my Google searches, everything. Even my shopping apps. I was training my brain to see the world through English. Now, I want to say this clearly. You don't have to do it all at once. You don't need to flip your whole world upside down overnight. Start small. One label on your door. One English playlist while you cook. One short video in English during your lunch break. But do it every day. That's what turns it into a habit. That's what turns English from a task into a lifestyle. Because when English becomes part of your real life, not something you do for 30 minutes and forget about, that's when everything shifts. Your progress speeds up. Your motivation stays strong. Your brain starts treating English like a tool you use, not just a challenge you study. You stop being a learner of English, and you become a user of English. Quick break here. If you're still with me, and I hope you are, please go ahead and subscribe to the Everyday English channel like this episode and drop a comment. Where are you listening from today? I'd love to know what country or city you're in. We have listeners from all over the world, and it's amazing to see this community grow. All right, take a breath, maybe smile a little, and let's keep going. Tip number 4. Make mistakes and learn from them. Okay, listen closely. This one might be uncomfortable, but it's absolutely necessary. Mistakes are not your enemy. Mistakes are your greatest teachers. Let me tell you a funny story. One day, I was trying to express how tired I felt. I meant to say, I'm bored. But what came out of my mouth was, I'm boring. Now, if you don't know the difference, I'm bored means I feel uninterested. I'm boring means I am a dull and uninteresting person. So, what happened? The person I was talking to started laughing. Not in a mean way, just friendly laughter. But I was mortified. I wanted the ground to swallow me. At the time, I thought, that's it, I'll never speak English again. I'm done. But here's the twist. I never made that mistake again. That moment, as embarrassing as it was, burned that lesson into my brain better than any grammar book ever could. That's the power of mistakes. They stick with you. They teach you, but only if you let them. Too many English learners are afraid of being wrong. They wait. They hesitate. They stay silent until they think their sentence is perfect. But here's the truth. Perfect English doesn't exist, not even for native speakers. People make grammar mistakes in their own language, all the time. The goal is not perfection. The goal is communication. So speak, even if it's messy, even if your grammar is off, even if you forget a word halfway through. Speak anyway, because every time you try, you're building confidence. Every time you mess up and keep going, you're training your brain to stay calm, to adapt, to learn. Remember when you were a baby, learning your first language? Did you wait until you could form perfect sentences before speaking? No. You just spoke. You got corrected. You learned. And over time, you got better. Same thing with English. I used to make all kinds of funny mistakes. I once said, I cooked my ankle, instead of, I twisted my ankle. Another time I said, I lost my mind, when I meant to say, I forgot my wallet. People laughed, and yes, I felt silly. But I also learned. Those were sticky moments, and sticky moments make sticky memories. The only people who don't make mistakes are the ones who don't try. And if you don't try, you don't grow. So here's what I want you to do. Start celebrating your mistakes. That's right. Celebrate them. Because every mistake you make is proof that you're trying. Proof that you're in the game. And every mistake brings you one step closer to fluency. You know how professional athletes review their game footage to see what went wrong so they can get better? Think of your mistakes the same way. Say something wrong? Great. That means you'll remember it better next time. Forget a word mid-sentence? Awesome. That means your brain is stretching to find new ways to express itself. Use the wrong verb tense? Perfect. That's a sign you're experimenting. And experimenting is where growth happens. So don't run from your mistakes. Don't hide from them. Embrace them. Learn from them. Laugh at them. Then move on. Because real progress doesn't come from doing it perfectly. Real progress comes from doing it consistently and bravely, even when it's messy. All right, Ready for the final tip? Let's go! Tip number 5. Be patient and stay consistent. And finally, tip number 5. Be patient with yourself. Stay consistent. Don't quit. Let's be real. We live in a world that loves fast results. Quick wins, instant feedback. We're used to ordering food, clicking a button, and having it at our door in minutes. So when we don't see fast results in language learning, it can be really frustrating. But here's what I've learned. Learning English is like planting a seed. You don't see the roots growing underground, but that doesn't mean nothing's happening. Progress is happening beneath the surface. Slowly, quietly. And then, one day, it breaks through. One day, you realize you're understanding more. You're speaking with less hesitation. You're even thinking in English without realizing it. That's not magic. That's consistency. There were so many times when I felt like giving up. I'd watch a video and understand nothing. I'd try to speak and forget the simplest word. I thought, maybe I'm just not good at this. But the truth is, those days are part of the journey. Some days you'll feel unstoppable. You'll watch a movie and follow along without subtitles. You'll have a conversation with a native speaker and feel confident. And other days, it'll feel like you're going backwards. Like everything is slipping through your fingers. And that's okay, because the key is not perfection. The key is showing up. Even if it's just 10 minutes. Even if all you do is listen to a podcast on the bus. Even if you just read one page of a book. It counts. It all counts. The mistake most people make is quitting too soon. They give up right before the breakthrough. Don't be that person. I want you to see English like a relationship. It needs your attention, your time, your patience. But if you stick with it, it becomes something truly beautiful. Something that opens doors, changes your life. So, those are the 5 tips that helped me improve my English and stop feeling stuck. Let me remind you quickly, surround yourself with English daily. Speak out loud, even alone. Live your life in English. Make mistakes and learn from them. Stay patient. Stay consistent. Don't give up. Now, I want to hear from you. Which one of these tips did you like the most? Which one are you already doing? Which one will you start today? Let me know in the comments. And hey, before you go, one last reminder. Subscribe to Everyday English. Like this episode, drop a comment and share your journey. I really want to hear it. No matter where you are on the path, you're doing better than you think. You're not behind. You're not too slow. You're learning. You're growing. And I'm proud of you. Thanks for hanging out with me today. This is Peter, signing off, but I'll be back soon. Until next time, keep listening, keep speaking, and never stop believing in yourself. Take care, my friend.